reach 50. Middle of, was it Andy's space? It was the middle of a space. I'm very, very thankful for, the opportunities and everything that has gone a long way. I mean, that's not something to really joke about. It's some getting into a little bit more serious territories. But besides that, building a community here that is so, so strong too. And, how do I stay in the line too? It's such a fantastic question. For me, it's always been about always really doubling down on one thing. I think when people start business or they start anything in life, they get a little too excited a little too quickly for a short temporary boost at a time. And I think with having, what's the terminology called here? When they have shiny object syndrome, there's always this new thing that keeps on coming up. There's always something new that they want to try. Oh, there's a new way of making money. Let's try this thing. But then what they don't realize is that's costing them time. The time that they've already spent, possibly months of building up one system is then just tragically thrown into the quote garbage because they're trying other things. So I really like to double down on one thing and super, super focus on that, because anything that you do, and I found this to be very true in business, anything that you do ultimately is going to lead to revenue as long as you're focused, aligned, and it's actually doing towards the right thing. Now, some things, they don't always work the same. Some things may take longer. Some things may, be a lot quicker than others. Some may be in some aspects of the risk of a gamble, especially if you're in the Web3 community. But all in all, if you double down on something and you're really focused and you're aligning yourself in a lot of ways, even as something as your environment, my literal phone screen, Justin, literally is just a black background with white words that say, go get that money. And it's a very simple, psychological trigger of if I'm ever tempted to pick up my phone, right, instead of wasting time possibly scrolling, it's best to actually make use of my phone time rather than anything else. So those little kind of tricks here and there really do matter as well. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, one of the most famous movie actors and, biggest bodybuilder to live out there, when he was growing up, he had posters of bodybuilders as well. He kept himself motivated at all times as a simple reminder as to why you're waking up during these days as well. So I'm not totally against motivation. That's not what I'm saying, right? But at the same time, right, you do need to put in the more disciplinary work for things to get done. But the motivation is just what sparks it. And if you can have your environment to spark that motivation, even by being just around the right people, things could really, really change as well. So for me, doubling down on one thing overall and just changing your environment, for me, that's how I stay aligned with my goals without actually going off track. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. If you're enjoying the space, please do us a favor and repost. And welcome to the Startup Circle. It's a new year for the Startup Circle. I'm very, very excited. At this rate, we're probably going to be hitting a very big milestone, with 10,000 community members. I'll be in absolute awe that we have so many people willing to learn and also people looking to grow their businesses. And until then, we're going to keep bringing you amazing content like this. Andy at 4 o'clock will be hosting a space very similar to this, and then I myself very soon after Justin's as well. So stay tuned for that if that's something you're interested in. All right, over to you, Justin.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, and congrats on the 50,000. And I'm really loving your new, bio write-up. I'm really loving that. It's nice and fresh. Yeah.
Actually written by AI, believe it or not. I'm not, hiding behind that as well, but there's a prompt I could send it over to you if you really want, but it'll write a very, very strong bio for you, to engaging, to building curiosity, to having one that seeks specifically for call to action. So there's like a list of like 10 different models, and I just went for this one that speaks curiosity and also takes call to action, right? Because that's what we want in our businesses as well. We want to have links in it, and then we want people to actually make a move on it as well. I'm sounding a lot like Christelle with her Buy Me a Coffee, but it's so true. I think bios are one of the first things that people look at. When I analyze myself in doing an audit, the banner is probably one of the last things I look at. That's just me personally. But the first thing I look at is typically the bio and then what's in the pinned posts. And the way that you funnel that is super important if you're looking for a lot of those inbound leads as well, right? It's a whole different discussion, when it comes to outbounds and if you're a beginner. But if you're just looking to get eyeballs that convert, yeah, those two things I think for the most part are really important. Or even your profile picture, right, is very key for pulling people in. That's a whole different discussion for another day. But uh, let's keep on rolling with the space because I don't want to keep on rambling. But I would
Yeah.
have a lot to say otherwise.
Yeah, no, you're good, Kevin. Yeah, I just want to, acknowledge you for all the hard work you're putting in, man. And yeah, it's been a great journey, and I know you had a great December as well. So yeah, just congrats on all you've accomplished, and what we're continuing to accomplish together here as a community in the startup circle. And thanks for, leading the charge and founding it and having me aboard and the other executive team members. I'm very humbled and privileged to be able to be part of it. So thank you. And yeah, let's jump over to Andy for his intro, and then we'll start getting this mic around. And I do want to mention before I go to Andy, so you mentioned it's shiny object syndrome. So really chase the fundamentals, guys. Chase the fundamentals. Like before you can scale, before you can get to that next level, like you got to really nail the fundamentals. And what do I mean by the fundamentals? It's really ideally building your email list, right? Building your email list, getting an offer for one person, one ICP. Andy talks about it every single day and reminds us, one problem, one solution, one ICP, one offer. Really nail that down. And then, building your newsletter email list and ideally doing some pre-launches for your, product or service. I've been following along the journey of some startup guys here on X where it's like they built an email list, they did a pre-launch, they got zero sales after like a week or two, and then they're like, all right, we're shutting this project down, on to the next, right? Because it's really difficult to get product to market fit and really get signups and get sales and paying customers. It's really difficult. Like people think it's easy, right? Like they paint this picture online like it's very easy. And it's not. Okay. I'm here to tell you it's not. But if you stick to it and marketing is all testing and you embrace the challenge and you just, test things out, you will get some traction. It's just you gotta start. You gotta put it out there and test. That's what it's all about. Marketing is testing. And once you hit something with the product to market fit, then boom, you can, lean into that, right? Really lean into that. So that's what it's all about. And then focus on people, process, and systems, right? Always have in your mind, like, what do I need to focus on today? People, process, and systems. That's the name of the game. And then who's got your money? Like I love you mentioned your backdrop on your phone. Like Grant Cardone, he always says like who's got my money, right? Who's got my money? Right? Who's got your money, right? There's people out there who have budget, who have money that they need to solve their problems or solve their pain, more importantly, and you just got to find out where they are. And the last thing I'll say, if you really want to watch something that's really incredible, watch Undercover Billionaire with Grant Cardone. I watched it, it was great. And he basically gets put in like a city in Utah or something with like zero money. And he's, undercover, right? No one knows he's a billionaire. So he has to like start from scratch and he just ends up running a marketing agency and signing clients. And so, but you want to see like a master at work, how he negotiates, how he sells himself, how he, you know, just ends up, selling all these people on marketing agency services is incredible, right? So just check it out. It's really inspirational. You'll learn a lot, right? You'll learn a lot of how he negotiates, how he does sales, how he structures deals, stuff like that. So yeah, it's called Grant Cardone, Undercover Billionaire, and how he does the marketing agency is brilliant. So, okay, yeah, let's go over to Andy. Andy, good morning, welcome.
Good morning. You can find that the undercover billionaire stuff on YouTube. You don't have to go pay for anything. So if you're interested in that, you can find it for free. Wins for the week. I wrote a book and published it. And so I became a published author by the end of 2025 was one of my goals. So that was just 4 days ago. So that was my big win for the week. Was saying, here's the crazy thing. I wrote the entire book in 2 hours.
And then I spent 3 weeks editing it. And it still was very like, oh, really, is it good enough? Do I need to fix this? Do I need to fix it? What about this? Do I need it? And finally, I just said, the only way it happens is if you just go, okay, okay, everybody, here you go. You can have it now. And that, and just publishing that. I still have 2 things I'm still looking to get to finish up the forward, and then get it click into the print on demand so I can put it in for Amazon for publishing. But other than that, you can buy right now if you go to my website or on my Andy Unfiltered, and you can, or just put the link in the purple pill, and you guys can just click the button and do it yourself. But yeah, that was my big win for the week. And here's another one. At the end of the year, so my birthday's on the 30th, and Justin's on the 29th. On the night before my birthday, I write myself a letter. Here's all the stuff that I did. Here's all the stuff that happened. Here's all the people that we lost. Here's all the stuff that I did well. Here's all the stuff that I did that sucked. Here's all the stuff I want to do. Here's all the really interesting things. And I've done it for a long time. So I have a whole bunch of those. And you can see each year they iterate into, okay, well, I want to do this. Well, what I meant is this way. And then, okay, that was too big. Let's narrow it down. And so if you look at the last 4 or 5 of them, they, which are private, I'm not sharing those. When I look at each of them, I see that my vision, and this is about alignment. My alignment is not forward thinking. My alignment is backward thinking. Let me say what I mean. If you're going strategically north, it's an easy way to say it. You're a North Star. You pick your target. You have a strategic vision. You're going north. Exactly north, 359 degrees north, or 0 north. What if you're on a compass? You know what I'm talking about. 358.5, 300. And so each year was, okay, it could be, a 10-degree kind of swing, and then it could be a 5-degree swing, and then a 2-degree swing, and then it's like, this is exactly where I want to go. And then this is the problem that got in the way. Okay, well, I had to fix that and adjust, but the alignment is in length, not in focus, if that makes sense. How do you stay aligned? The easiest way to stay aligned is to have a strategic vision and look back and see if your line has been straight towards it or not. If your alignment in retrospect is not straight towards your objective, that means either you've changed your objective or something's got in the way. If something gets in the way and you readjust, then your alignment is good. If you were looking over there to the left for a long time and then go, I'm going to go to the right. Oh, and now I'm going to even more to the right. Oh, I'm going to go back to the left. You have to pick one thing. Pick the result you want as the objective of who you are, is my suggestion. Pick who you want to be first. Then pick what you want to do, and then pick what your results you want to be. If you pick who you are first, it's much easier to, quote unquote, align what you want to do and where you want to go. If you're not sure who you are, fine. Then pick the things to do. Take the action. Don't do the strategy, I'm going to aim over here. No, I'm going to aim over there. Just make progress. Do something. So if your goal is, who am I? What do I want to become? Doing it is what makes that happen. So the alignment is action, right? The steps are pick a goal, move, look, and is the movement towards or away from your goal? That's how you can tell if your alignment is right. So move, adjust, move, adjust, move, adjust, until when you look back, you see that everything you've done led you to where you are. So that's it. Alignment is picking a target and moving, but checking about where you came from. So I don't dwell on the past, but I often look there to see, where did I come from? Where have I come from? How much have I gone? Because wherever you are today it's really hard to show progress where you are. It's easy to show progress where you came from. Thanks.
Yeah, progress over perfection is my favorite quote. And yeah, people and I even had this quote that I live by even before I met Will. It's people don't know what they want because they don't know who they truly are. So once you figure out who you truly are, then you can know, okay, this is what who I want to serve, and this is what I'm gonna do in that order. Because yeah, like I've just been always about being in alignment first and foremost with who am I, right? And a lot of the times people don't know what they want because they don't know who they truly are. And once you get really clear, and I listen, I've spent over $150,000 in personal development and education and certifications and fill in the blank, okay? So I've invested a lot of time, energy, money, effort, but that's what it takes, right? If you're serious about your own success, like you got to invest in yourself first. We talked about the quote yesterday. But once you know who you truly are, then you know you can find out, okay, who do I need to be serving and what do I need to be doing with these gifts that I have? Because we all have these superpowers, like Andy says, right? We all have these superpowers. And as long as we're getting in front of the right people at the right time, with the right problem, with the right budget, the right decision maker, the right tactic, the right strategy, all those things come together, and then boom, you get the revenue. So let's go over to Will. I know he's chomping at the bit here to get to we're speaking his love language. So Will, jump in here, man. Morning.
Good morning. Yes, you absolutely are. Well, love the topic, first things first. And Andy's spot on. And I love what you said there, Andy, as well, because I'm a big fan of roadmaps. And these are something that I've started implementing since last year. Because, in my opinion, two things you need to know, in addition to who you are, which is a non-negotiable, is where you are and where you want to go. And just like Andy said, the only way to look at who you are being objectively is to look at your behavior. And this is something that I've really only codified recently, because far too many people will talk about things and never actually act on them. And so they can trick themselves into thinking, well, this is who I am because these are the things I say. But if you don't truly act that way, it's not you, right? And this is a harsh truth that many people don't want to hear. If you can't prove it in behavior, you don't really believe it. If you say you want to be fit and you keep skipping the gym, you don't really believe it. It's not who you are. It's not your state. It's just your desire. And a desire kept at a distance will never be your reality. So when we look at the North Pole example, which is a great example, when you look at the tracks you've left in the snow, it shows you your direction, right? You might think you're going in the right direction, but that will show you who you've been. So the way I like to do this is every week I have a check-in on my roadmap. And it's like, okay, great. What was the deliverable this week? Like, what did I physically, tangibly do? What are my observable outcomes? Now, I'm not looking to those to tell me who I am. That's a decision. Like, a lot of people ask me, how do I find my identity? You choose it. You choose it. You can have anything you want if you choose it. And then the framework that I've recently deployed, and I tried this on the call this morning with the group, was clarity, conviction, consistency in that order. Do you have clarity? Do you know where you're going? Because if you don't know where you're going, stop. Nothing else matters until you have that. Once you have clarity, do you have conviction? Because if you don't believe you're going to get there, then you will not do the things you need to do to get there. So without conviction, stop. But once you have clarity and you have conviction, now apply consistency. And once all three of those are lined up, that equals inevitability. You know where you're going, and you know you're going to get there, and you're going to show up every single day and take a step in that direction, course correcting where needed. You can't fail to hit the objective. So a weekly check-in on that is how I do it. And for you guys in the community, I've sent you over this week's objective, and you should also have your Q1 roadmap as well by now. So yeah, thank you, Justin. Absolutely love this topic.
Yeah, thank you, Will. I would add, if you're open to some coaching, I would add commitment as part of that framework because, yes, conviction is good and great. So clarity, commitment, conviction, consistency, right? Because without, and you know me, I'm big on commitment. I've talked about it religiously. Like nothing starts without commitment. Nothing, right? You can be motivated, you can have the best intentions, you can have the greatest attitude in the world. But until I commit, nothing else happens, right? So I always commit. Like we committed last year, we're going to do daily spaces, Monday through Friday for a year. Who's with me? Andy. Andy's with me. All right, awesome. Appreciate you, brother. Let's do this. Right? So nothing starts without commitment. So clarity, 100%, then commitment, then conviction, and then consistency. And yeah, that's the winning formula right there, Will. So yeah, well said. And then yeah, it's just, and that's the thing when you've been part of the community for the last, year or the last month, let's say, heading into January was just it was a very easy transition. It was like, okay, it's New Year, great. Like I'm doing the same thing I've been doing every single day. It's like Andy hit the nail on the head the other day. It's just another day, right? We have a momentum building, right? We have the clarity, we have the commitment, we have the conviction, now it's all about consistency. So, yes. Yeah, jump in. Jump in.
Okay. Can you get to commitment if you don't first have the conviction? Isn't this is I'm just I don't know being contrarian here, but I was thinking about it, and I'm huge on conviction because conviction is it's almost like a heart move. It's like you've got your heart and mind involved in it because we can commit to something, but if we don't have that, why did you commit to another year? Because you were first convicted that this is very valuable for you. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to add that in there.
I'll jump in on the back of that because that's more or less exactly what I wanted to say. Because as we know, Justin, and like I've started to put this on the door for my community. You're either interested or committed, and if you're interested, you don't belong here because this is a committed environment. And I paid someone recently to basically just tear apart my business plan. And they took one look at what I was doing and they said, get rid of the free tier because you're attracting people who are interested but not committed. And it sucked because I'd spent 6 months building that.
And people pay when they're convicted, right?
I mean, I love what you said as well, because conviction is what? It's faith. It goes beyond faith, if you think about it. Faith comes from Latin, which is fides, which means conviction. It goes beyond faith because faith etymologically has the potential to be disproven, whereas conviction is knowing. And knowing equals being. So clarity, conviction, consistency. But yeah, I think there is room for commitment in that process as well. Maybe just a recommitment, because it's so easy to lose track when you're walking in the snow and you don't have a compass, right? But if you've committed, like there's no way home. You have to burn the boats. Like anyone who's achieved anything great will tell you this. You can't do it with 1 foot in and 1 foot out. The double-minded man is unstable in all their ways. I bring that up all the time because it's so true, so practical. But I realized, Justin, I didn't share wins of the week, and that's on me. So we finished the December lock-in challenge with, for our paid members, I can see a few of them in the room now, 98.7% congruence rating, meaning that these members showed up every day. In the morning, they said, this is who I'm going to be today. This is my authority today. This is who's in charge today. Saying no to circumstances, no to emotions. No, I am in charge today. And then they showed proof with evidence, which is the screenshots. And I know you guys are already doing this as well in the community, but 98.7% of our members over the course of the month, that is 31 days, including Christmas Day, took a positive step towards their desired outcome. That is my win for the week.
Yeah, that's huge, Will. Congratulations. And yeah, I'm happy to be part of that. I think I had 100% for December. Correct me if I'm wrong.
1 out of 31. You absolutely did.
Okay, great, great. Thank you. I'm an overachiever, you know. So thanks for that, Will, and thanks for leading the way there. So yeah, and look, Christelle was right. Like conviction comes before commitment. She sold me and Will sold me. So yeah, I'm with you. I agree. I agree. You sold me. So very convincing, Christelle. Christelle the convincing, let me tell you. She has her way. So
I can be very persuasive, yes.
awesome.
Puerto Rican in me, you know.
Yes, absolutely. I have a Hispanic wife. Don't, no need to tell me. Amazing. Well, yeah, speaking of, yeah, Christelle, do you want to jump in here? And I don't see we have any hands up, but yeah, you want to share your wins for the week and how you stay aligned, and then we'll go to, Yvonne and Timo. Speaking of, you know, uh, tracks in the snow, I would love to hear from Timo because he's probably got some snow. So, so yeah, over to you, Christelle.
Love to. Yeah, so the past couple weeks have been interesting because Romeo's had a couple of days out of school. He hasn't had the full 2 weeks, but he's had 2 days like in the middle of the week, which is kind of interesting. So anyways, and then his dad is working at the office. They're forcing them all to be at the office. So for the first time, it's like I have the 3-year-old and it's just the two of us. Also, my car isn't working. So that was the biggest challenge is like I had to figure out kind of how to entertain the child while it's cold outside. I have no car and, but luckily I have a great stroller and a park that's super close by that he loves. So we spent a lot of time there. I did a lot of movement. But anyways, my win is that it was so enjoyable for me, and that is an answered prayer because it's hard to admit this, but yeah, I used to have anxiety thinking about like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do when it's just the two of us, because that is a real reality that I'm going through right now. And so I feel like God is preparing me for, having Romeo to myself full time. And so my prayer has been to relieve that anxiety. I don't want to be an anxious mom. I don't want to, be like, oh my gosh, how am I? My mom did it. My mom was 17 when she had me, and then she was 19 when she had my sister, and she was single by the time I was 3, and she did it, and she worked full time, so it's like I'm having to remind myself you can do this, but I'm also grappling with the biggest fear that I've had since I was little because I watched her and I saw her struggle. So I never wanted to be a single mom. But also that fear of being a single mom has caused me to hold on to things for too long that I shouldn't be holding on to. And so I'm ready to let go and allow God to, bring in the support that I need in whatever way that looks, because I know he'll hold us. And so this week was big letting go, big letting go, learning how to be the full-time mom and still get a newsletter out and still do spaces. And I wasn't anxious. I was exhausted, but it was like the best kind of fulfilling work, going to sleep with my body aching because I had to do my hair and then Romeo's hair and clean the house. I don't know. It just felt so good. And it feels like a win for me because I was scared of this. I was scared of it, that I had to do it for a couple days, while his dad was away. And so it's like I got a taste of what it would be like. And I believe that God strengthens single parents. I don't even want to say just women because men do this too. And I believe that he gives us a special like blessing and energy to get through it. And yeah, so it feels like a win. I feel like a mom win. I got him to take a nap yesterday, which I haven't been able to do for months because I just followed the preschool schedule. Imagine that. And it worked. So yeah, I'm in super mom mode, and he's at school right now just for today. And then I get 2 more days and it's going to be fun. So yeah, thank you for letting me share that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Christelle. Lovely share. And yeah, faith is everything. And praying for you and everything that you're navigating. And yeah, business, family, it's a lot, So, definitely keeping you in the prayers as always. And yeah, you get a lot of things here in these spaces, right? It's, you know, laughs, cries, wins, losses, it's everything here. And but as long as we know that, hey, we're driven by our faith, we're aligned with community, and we're moving forward, right? We're able to wake up and bill and breathe. It's a win. So thanks for being here, Christelle. Always a pleasure having you. And yeah, I would love to check in with Timo if he's available because he's accomplished quite a bit. Even this week, he launched something special today, so I don't want to steal his thunder, but yeah, let's head over to Timo. Timo, welcome. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy 2026 and good morning to my awesome friends across the pond. Yeah, today was, well, actually, tomorrow is the launch day, but all the founder members, which most of them are on this space, received the product already for free as per the deal on the founders level on my newsletter. So they're forever going to get those e-products for free for being a founder, being the brave ones that jumped and believed on that newsletter when it launched last March. So hope you enjoy it. The official launch is tomorrow. A pro member will receive it tomorrow morning, an hour before everyone else, and then everyone else get the paid version link. And so that's the 90 days of that story coming to an end. And next Monday, there's going to be a slight pivot towards more in-depth content on that long form platform that we all love. So yeah, I think that's a big win. I got that through today to the founders, and have half of next week already scheduled. I did the design for Andy's Unfiltered. Haven't heard from him yet, and there's some messages on the back channel for you, Andy, whenever you have time. It's already live. If you don't like it, we can re-roll it back. And had the products up on that landing page too. So it's pretty compact. I think it's all I need is the logo if you like it. So I need to drop the logo on certain places. But other than that, that is now completed. So pretty much all the backlog is now done, and 2026 is ready to go. How do you stay aligned? One big thing for all this new year, new me, bull crap, we do have to remember that no matter how much we just try to talk ourselves into believing that it is actually possible to have more bandwidth, time, and opportunities to do stuff, it is not. It's just like time will take, unless you stop sleeping, which is not healthy. So please remember that if you think that you can double up your achievements, you do have to drop something out in order to get more time to do that, what brings in the most revenue. So I'm excited. New 90 days coming up. Q1 is pretty much planned for next week. Content is pretty much already going into scheduling. All we need is ads on Sunday. So yeah, pumped up. The backlogs are done. Only Justin's website needs some investigations, because I think it's pagination is why the blog posts are not appearing correctly. So that's it. I'm gonna hopefully get to it this evening.
Yeah, good stuff, Timo. And I just want to acknowledge Timo on his, if you have the privilege of being one of his founders, and I already started reading it, this morning before the space. So he has a before after model, right? So one of the things in marketing that's really powerful, it's one of the most powerful things you can do is demonstrate the before and after, right? So before working with Timo, I was at this level. And after working with Timo for 90 days, I'm at this level, and this is what I was able to achieve. Right? So you can do this for any business model, your own business, it doesn't matter. But anytime you want to always get any sort of testimonial or case study that demonstrates the before after model. So the before, working with Yvonne, after working with Yvonne for 6 months, I was at this level. And then after working with Yvonne for 1 year, this is what I was able to accomplish. Right. So you want to do that in your marketing. And Timo demonstrated it in his ebook, in his book, which was brilliant. So yeah, I can't wait to tap into that, Timo. Great work there. Like I said, privileged to be one of your founders, and yeah, new year, new revenue is what I'm telling people. Hey, new year, new me. No, no, no. It's new year, new revenue. Okay? Like let's get this straight here, okay? New year, new revenue.
And new records.
And new Ronins. Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, because we're growing. So but yeah, good stuff, Timo. Thanks for tapping in, man. I want to go to Danielle real quick and then we'll go to Yvonne and yeah, hang out as long as you want, Timo. I know you're walking the dog in the snow there.
In the trails, and I challenged Will because he said it's hard to find your way in the snow. I posted a picture. It's not. There's always trails.
A true Nordic veteran there, Timo, I love it. All right, well, let's go to Danielle. Danielle. Oh, go ahead.
So Timo, I'll be with you guys next December. So next December, I'm doing a cruise / thingy-majig up in, we're doing Lapland. So I'm going to go to Sweden, Finland, Norway, all that stuff. So I'll be up at that end of the world next Christmas. So we can enjoy the snow together, I suppose. Maybe we can meet up. I don't know what the itinerary looks like, but yes, I'm looking forward to seeing it in person.
Yeah, keep me posted. Let's see if we can meet up in the dark Arctic under some Nordic lights.
Oh, that's awesome.
Will, have you cruised before? We don't need to get into a cruise conversation, but yeah.
Well, I've done a few, but it's my wife's 40th next December. Oh, this December, I should say now. And she wanted to do something special, so we're doing a Northern Lights chasing thing. It's like a package deal, and it goes through 3 countries. So I don't know what the itinerary looks like. I just know that I need to be in a place that I have phone reception so I can run my business. And apart from that, I can be anywhere, just maybe a little colder than normal.
Yeah, with Nordics, we have 5G pretty much in the entire country is covered. So no worries.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, keep us updated on that collaboration. I would love to get out there too one day, Timo. So when I get that private jet, dialed in, so. All right, let's go to Danielle and then we'll go to Yvonne and then Giancarlos. And yeah, I got a couple things to share as well. Yes.
Because I'm just saying goodbye to me for the day. I'll go after Yvonne.
Okay, sounds good. Yvonne, welcome. Great to see you. Hope your Friday's going well.
And I was going to say, go to Giancarlos first because I was waiting to go after Danielle because I got something I got to do quick.
Okay, you got it. Giancarlos, he's prepared. He's ready to go. Giancarlos, how's it going, man? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm actually putting together a bookshelf right now for my son, so it's on perfect timing. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Also, Will, that sounds like a fantastic birthday excursion. Kudos to you on that, and you kind of just gave me some inspiration for, I'll try to find whatever the United States equivalent is. But yeah, I think I want to talk about a few wins for the week. Fortunately, I can't say too much, but I am a fractional COO right now for an MSP. That's been going really well. Started that about 2 months ago, and recently found out that there is Justin, we're gonna have a conversation here soon. I know your background. Recently found out that the deals that are underway is rather notable, and I just wasn't aware of a specific detail about it. So that was really exciting. And then in relation to that, today I have an interview with somebody at 1 p.m. To bring them on as an SDR and fast track them to a BDR. And then because of their dual skill set, see if they will have the bandwidth and desire to also be a support engineer. So that'll be nice to help with that on both of those frontiers. And so that's a win on the entrepreneur route, right? Not the entrepreneur route. On the entrepreneur route, I consider this a win. I have determined that I don't want to be a community leader, and so school is just not for me. And it's because I've always been a community supporter and a community builder, not a community leader. I look at Christelle and I'm like, yeah, I just don't want to do that. Will, what he's doing, I simply don't want to do that. I want to lead my child. That's the community I want to build. And so that was a win for myself, I think, that I realized. And so what I'm contemplating now is taking all those materials and revamping them for probably buy me a coffee. I've all of y'all seem so happy with it, and it's fantastic. I know that you can sell on it, so that's great. Beehive is, I guess, another concept, but same thing with newsletters. I don't want to write a newsletter, and that's just the fact of the matter. Maybe I'm naive for that, but I also just have different ways to monetizing. But
no one wants to write a newsletter, Giancarlos, until they start writing the newsletter and they see what the newsletter brings. I'm just saying.
I hear you on that. No, you make a good point. We'll see.
I'll do the persuading in the DM so I don't take up too much space here because, I am very persuasive. But for anyone who's not on the newsletter train, just come to me. Let me talk to you for 10 minutes and I'll get you on the train.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that DM. But yeah, I don't know. So I consider that a win just because the school thing was really exciting for me, and I spent quite a good deal amount of time putting all the materials together. Justin, thank you so much. He became a supporter, and I really do appreciate that. And I'll find a way to ensure that you still get your value out of everything. But it's been interesting to pivot a little bit and kind of just look at how I can revamp these materials for a different platform. So that's been cool. And then I guess the only other thing is, I don't have any other wins, actually. So yeah, I'm grateful. It's a good day. And I thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you, Giancarlos. And yeah, would love to hear how you stay aligned. I mean, I know you got, great workflows, great methodologies and systems, and yeah, any wisdom you can drop us on how you stay aligned would be super helpful. And yeah, I want to acknowledge you for, recognizing and as we take inventory for the new year, there's nothing wrong with identifying your strengths and your weaknesses, right? So part of the SWOT analysis is really powerful. If you don't know what the SWOT analysis is, just look it up. It's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Okay. And it's a business framework methodology that, ideally you want to focus on your strengths and delegate your weaknesses, right? This is the level of mastery, right? Where you really triple down on your strengths, go all in on your strengths, and then you delegate your weaknesses, right? So I applaud Giancarlos recognizing like, hey, I'm not good at this. I'm good at this. I want to triple down on my strengths, like that's what this is all about, on the journey. Because yeah, can we do it all? Yeah, we can probably do it all. But should we be doing it all? No. No, absolutely not. Right? That's not the way you scale. That's not the way you build a sustainable business that's growing. And the fractional COO, I love that because it really signifies like, people only deserve a fraction of my time. People only deserve, they're privileged to work with you guys. They're absolutely privileged to work with Giancarlos. They're privileged to work with Christelle. It's a privilege if you get to work with Timo. To work with Andy, that's a privilege. To work with Kevin, that's a privilege. This is what it's about, guys. This is called positioning. This is called mastery. You've been putting in the work and you're deserving of it. So triple down on your strengths, delegate your weaknesses. So brilliant moves from Giancarlos. And you notice here there's a theme. We call each other out here in this space, but it's all from a place of love, right? We will tell you not just what you want to hear, we will tell you what you absolutely need to hear. This is the difference. This is the difference. So yeah, go for it, Giancarlos, and then pass it to Will.
Yeah. So, and thank you for so much for reminding me, because that is actually what I also wanted to share, is that, how I stay aligned. I love whenever this becomes a concept and I can speak on it, but it always comes back to clarity for me. And so this is the full formula. I've actually dropped it into the comments, but and this is what I basically do for every decision. It's now just ingrained in me. Also, just a backstory: it is a derivative of my original formula. So this is a formula that I started kind of also following to an extent. It's just a language change in the last year and a half, but it's what I provide to other people, because I keep my internal one private and for me, because it's literally how my brain operates. So, not open sourcing that basically. But it's very simple. It's C, clarify your vision and your priorities. You want to then limit your distractions and inefficiencies. Then you assess the challenges and opportunities. And from there, you'll refine your approach with strategic adjustments. After that, you implement with focus and consistency. Then you test and adapt based on feedback. And then my favorite one is you yield measurable results. And just a small breakdown there, the reality of the situation is that naturally the decision process is typically just ITY, implement, test, and yield. And there's no revision of the approach. It's just problem appears, approach problem, implement, test, and yield. That's kind of how we operate normally as humans. And so it's just really adding that precursor foundation there. So thank you so much for that reminder there, Justin.
Yeah, you got it, man. Yeah, it's systems thinking is very powerful, and even based on your personality traits, like I'm an ENTJ, it's a Myers-Briggs, and like you again, we're coming back to a very circular theme here from the beginning. It's know who you are first, know who you're meant to serve, and then do the thing, relentlessly execute. That's it. So, but yeah, good stuff, John Carlos. Thanks. Let's go back to Will, and then we'll go to uh Yvonne and Danielle.
Thanks, Justin. I was just going to say to Giancarlos, I put my hand up and put it down because I was doing something. But dude, when I did my first school community last year, and I closed it because, in my opinion, it did not do what I wanted it to do. Because it was when I looked at it, it wasn't a community. It was 130 people talking to me one on one, which is great for some people, but that's not what I wanted. And I had a moment where I was like, well, did I waste my time? And then I reframed it to myself to be like, no, absolutely not. I learned so much from this. The process of condensing the idea that I had into a physical, tangible thing is where the learning came from. And I said to someone when I was reviewing it at the end of the year last year, it's like, I would not have traded that, because I learned so much from that. So I just wanted to see if anyone's hearing that and they're thinking, starting something and then stopping it, is that always, a sign of failure or whatever? No, it's not. It's very necessary. It's so necessary. And I just wanted to say that, because what I would not want anyone to do is to hear what you said, Giancarlos, and be like, okay, well, this didn't work. But that is such a golden learning opportunity. And I know that, clarity is your thing, so I know you picked up on that. But I just wanted to bring that to the table in case anyone else was listening to it. That is where the best learning comes from.
Yeah, just to add on to that, because for Cindy's situation, right, like she's had a product launch and it's been, many years in the making. So now she has the expertise to really guide someone else that's going through that journey as a consultant, right? So they're gonna avoid a lot of, mistakes and challenges that Cindy and her team went through, right? People are gonna pay money to get the accelerated version so they can avoid mistakes. So there's two concepts really critical that people need to understand, especially as it relates to marketing. They want to know what to do, but it's really important to know what not to do as well. This is where people miss. This is where wisdom comes into play in the LLM challenges, right? Yes, it can scrape everything, but I can look at things, I can say, you know what? That's not quite right. I've done that. You don't know it until you live it. Okay? You don't know it until you live it. So that's the takeaway there. That's the takeaway. So yeah, shout out to Cindy. I know she's, a new Ronin here, and I want to make sure she gets value. I try to My style here on the hosting spaces, make sure everyone gets value, right? Massive value. So really tapping into everyone's situations and stories and, making sure they get that value. So thank you, Cindy, for being here. Happy Friday to you. And yeah, let's jump over to Danielle and then we'll go to Yvonne.
Good morning. Okay, my win is that I'm actually upright at 7:39. So last night, and I know everybody on the space can relate to this at some point, that fire alarm, not fire alarm, but like the smoke alarm, when that sucker and the battery goes and it's never like a good time. So at about 2:17 a.m., that damn thing decided to start chirping. Now, what really pisses me off about this, about like 2 weeks ago, I live in a rental community. They came and they did their whole, they're really consistent here. They're great. They did the whole, replace filters, blah, blah, blah. So that sucker was checked only 2 weeks ago. So at 2:17, that thing starts chirping, and we've got like 9 of them on 2 different floors. And then I, detect which one. Well, we have 2 dogs, and one sleeps in our bed and one doesn't. Well, they both start to freak out and like walk on our heads, like literally walk on our heads in a full-blown panic. And so, you're like resigned to the fact that fucking thing, excuse my French, is not going to shut up unless you figure out how to do it. And I'm on AI going, how do you disengage this thing like without like cutting a wire, It's all hardwired, right? So anyway, the ladder's coming out, the lights are going on, we're pressing test buttons, beep, beep, beep. That went on until about 3:15. My husband and I were like, fucking turn the coffee on. I just started. Yeah, going back to my book, my obsessive stretch of time here with my book, doing that. But that all with yesterday, I was doing laundry. I didn't do a lot of work the last 2 days. I'm sharing this for a reason. So I'm washing all the, the bedding and stuff. I had my 4 kids here. I was so blessed to have them all crammed into this spot. And I reconverted my home office into a bedroom. I literally went on Amazon and bought cots and this and that, and, took out the desk, took out all the furniture, took out the copier, made that into a bedroom. So now I had to put that back, right? My daughter's visiting. I'm like, we're fixing this. And so I'm doing laundry, and because I rent, I have an older machine. The machine's actually brand new, but it's old style with that agitator thing going, not like the new ones without like, no agitator. So I'm shoving oversized, blankets in these things, comforters. And I'm trying to rearrange this thing. I don't know what I did, guys, but I leaned over and I'm pulling this thing up just so it doesn't get stuck around this agitator. And all of a sudden I feel the right side of my ribs, I'm pressing down, make a sound and a movement that was unrecognizable, but took my breath away. Now, I thought, you can't break your ribs just by pulling and pressing at the same time. And no, my ribs are not broken, but something happened. Okay. And it was like, it literally, you ever get a chiropractic adjustment on your back and you feel like, your spine being realigned, like going down, right? And it doesn't hurt, but it makes a noise. It's audible. And you have a feeling around it. Well, that's what happened on the whole right side of my rib cage. I ended up on the floor groaning. My husband didn't move. He sat there going, you okay? He didn't get off the couch. And my daughter in her room, you okay? And I was just like, hey. Consequently, I'm sitting here today with serious lack of sleep, feeling like I was in a barroom fight last night because I can't take a full breath without, I wouldn't call it pain, I would call it discomfort. But you know what the most annoying thing is? I can't effing stretch. I go to like put away something and I can't reach. I can't extend the right side of my body because of the restriction for whatever happened to my ribs. I'm good for much today. And I'm grateful that I don't have any client meetings. Nobody's, but what else I haven't done is it's January 2nd. I got to jumpstart like some of the things that are happening. 2 of my clients, are podcast clients, podcast specific. So I don't coach them on their career. I go into the Riverside. I review the things they upload. I comment on them. I help them market it, ghostwrite, like all that kind of stuff. So they're ongoing projects. They're not like, oh yeah, you're meeting me at 2:00 on Thursday, and then I'm giving you an executive summary, and then I'll see you at your next little meeting. These things are like I live and breathe their work, and they pay me accordingly. So I got to do that. But I'm a little brain dead, but I'm really happy to be here. Normally I would be at my Al-Anon meeting at 6:30 a.m., but I couldn't even drive a car. So just sitting here stupefied and happy that it's Friday and that I get to listen to you guys, and hopefully my ribs don't, the ribs are funny. I mean, they're not fractured, they're not broken, they're not even sprained, but something happened. And I'm going to have to live with it for a couple of days. There's no doubt about it. So just happy, just really, obsessing not in a bad way over this book. it just keeps getting better and clearer and cleaner for me. And things are just, it's just happening. I'm really super excited about it. So, yeah, hopefully we hand it over to the team, you know, in the next, I'd say the next month. I'm not rushing this. It's too important. But I do want to see it up on Amazon by March. I think that's my realistic goal, you know. And again, I'm already being paid to speak on it. It was January 15th. You know, they paid me several $1,000s to talk about the method that's in this book. And so it's happening. And now, you know, what I need to do is curate other revenue generating things around it, because this is going to become very important in 2026, especially for all the time that I have creating. I'm going to be relaunching my own podcast. Those creative hours, they're an investment in our visibility and our product and like all our brand, everything. But they're also not money generating hours, you know, in and of themselves. And so I need to be very careful to offset that and be creative. And I'm so grateful for all the ways that you guys put your work into the world and capture what you deserve to capture so you can be self-sustaining and do more of the same, grow, right? Because we have to remember, in order to grow, we need the revenue. I mean, hence the whole revenue Ronin model. And so that is what my focus is going to be in a real concrete way this year, because I have been late to the table in that regard. And, you know, got to stop selling all the stocks or whatever I have, which is not a lot, guys. You know, it will be 2 years. I think it's on the 21st that I left corporate America. 2 years. Like, wow. Now, a lot has happened. I've completely rebranded myself. I'm a completely different persona out there. Like, so I've done big things. Like, I'm proud of what's accomplished. But we got to be rolling with the dough a little bit. You know what I mean? And I got a son that's getting married in April, and I'd like to gift him, you know, a little something, something, you know, and I can't do that unless I get very strategic and intentional about the ways that I am, you know, capturing the revenue. So thanks for letting me share. But yeah, the brain cells they're not at the height today.
Well, I promise I didn't name this space How Do You Stay Aligned for Danielle, you know. So I promise that, but I'm glad you're okay, Danielle. And yeah, chiropractic is a big, you know, I herniated my disc when I was 18 squatting in high school, weightlifting, and it was either surgery or chiropractic in the holistic route, and I took the holistic route, thank God, and it really helped me. You know, it really helped me overcome that. But you know, since then, you know, had you know many challenges. But the point is you know staying in alignment, you know, and on the revenue side, so yeah, that's the thing. Like the quickest way for you, in my opinion, for sustainable revenue growth is, and this goes for everyone, not only Danielle, but it's you have existing clientele that you can tap into for upsells, cross sells, or even downsells, and then also new revenue, right? So new speaking engagements, new group coaching clients, right? So those are the two, and the quickest way to cash for anyone is with your existing clients, right? You want to get them purchasing more, investing more, buying more products and or services from you right now. That's the quickest way to cash. And then the second quickest way to cash is new speaking engagements for Danielle, new group coaching for corporate, right? So yeah, just putting that out there. And yeah, I appreciate you so much, Danielle. Sorry that happened. I've had that happen too, where it's like it wasn't that extensive, but like yeah, changing those batteries in the in the smoke alarm can be a challenge.
Do it.
Well, he shouldn't be doing that with his hip. What is he doing?
No, right? But you know what? He's showing her age. Like, what the hell? What?
Oh man.
You know I'm a young version of my number, Justin. You've met me.
Of course, of course.
And listen, I don't act my age. I don't know what my age is supposed to be, but shit, I'm jumping out of planes. I gotta do bold things. I'm like, let's go. You know, there's nothing aged about me. That's for damn sure. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. But yeah, I'll be nursing this whatever the hell it is on my right side.
but happy to be here.
Yeah, well, much love to you, Danielle. Today it's a little rainy in San Diego. I don't know if you guys are getting rain in Newport, but and it was funny. I had a weird dream. Like I was like, oh, I was driving up to with Eric to go meet up with Danielle and do a Be Real X Talk show. I had a dream of that last night, actually. I was like, well, yeah, one of these days I'm gonna surprise Danielle. I'm gonna be like, hey, Danielle, can you come outside for a second? And then me and Eric are gonna be there and surprise her. So get ready, Danielle. Hey, it's manifesting right now. It's manifesting right now. So get ready, Danielle. It may happen. So all right, let's go to Yvonne. Yvonne, how's it going? Welcome. Happy Friday.
Hey guys, happy Friday. Speaking of staying aligned, I've been listening to you guys sitting outside by the pool because it is a freaking gorgeous day where I'm at today. And I'm like, I need to spend time outside. So I've started trying to attend these morning spaces outside because you get so like in your work brain and you're like working on all these things. And I'm like, damn it, I need to go out and get some vitamin D. And it's like just a nice little brain break, but then also regarding the space, like it's a nice realignment too. But so many things that I wanted to tap into, and I just want to say this quickly before I forget. With what Will was talking about with your other community that you tried out, and the only way that you can learn is through trying. That's why you don't regret it. I love how you always have such a positive approach, and you look at everything like, how did this make me better, or what did I learn from this experience? It's such a beautiful mindset. And I have an example of something related to that. A very tangible example is that in acting class, of course, everything comes back to acting Hollywood, right? For me. But I like there's so many times, and you can even equate it to yourself as an individual, right? Whether you're having with your business and maybe you need to do a pitch, like whether it's in front of clients or an audience and you're raising capital for investors, like when you see people on Shark Tank and they're doing their pitch and stuff like that, that's another form of performance, so to speak, right? Because you have to plan all that stuff. You got to know all your numbers, but just having that rehearsal, like there's so many times in scenes when you're reading scenes and scripts and stuff like that, and you see the scene in your mind, or you see, like you think of it maybe a particular way that might be expressed, because in the impulse of the moment inside your imagination, when you're reading that, right, if you're playing one of those characters, you're coming to life in your imagination. You're seeing a particular way, you're seeing the other characters in a particular way, but all of that's in your head ends up being a lot of times completely different than when you actually open your mouth and express it. And that's where you bridge the gap, so to speak, right? And no matter how many times you rehearse it in your mind, and this equates to business and to planning, that's why execution is so important. You learn through the doing, right? Like you have to have the mindset first to move you into the action and the commitment. But then the only way you're really going to get confident about what you're doing, even in regards to public speaking, is by actually doing it. That's why actors have rehearsals. So people who are doing their pitch, I've had this happen so many times, and even though I know this, it's still always kind of a fascinating process, because I'll see the speech or something in my mind, but then I will say it out loud, especially if it's like in an acting scene or something like that. And the way my body and my voice and everything comes to life is not ever exactly like how I saw it there. And then sometimes it doesn't really go the way that you wanted it to go, right? And meanwhile, that's what actors have to do. Like you're supposed to like understand the story, but not entirely fuse yourself to a preconceived notion, because you need to be in the flow state to be able to kind of go with what the impulse is that's coming in the moment, and trust that about yourself. And the only way that happens is through the actual doing, because then when you do it, even if it came out the way that you had seen or that you thought about, it ends up expressing it differently, or you find a better way. Like my acting teacher, one of my favorite things she always said is, we call it good, better, best, right? You come up with a particular tool, you make a decision, you express it, and that might have been good, but could it be better? So then you do it again and you try to find a better way, and then you end up figuring out what's the best way to be able to actually execute that. And then always remembering too that even after you do that, if you've practiced that in rehearsals for yourself, that when you're actually live in the moment, you still have to be able to trust yourself and go with what's coming, because anything can freaking happen, because it's live, right? Even if it's recorded on film and television, even though you can get a second take and stuff like that, in that moment when it's actually happening, just very much like how we are on these spaces, it is still a live breathing moment that is like independent, has its own life force, so to speak. So I just wanted to mention that because I love how Will said, I don't regret that. And I think that that's such an important reason why so many people hesitate, because they're planning so much, because they're like, oh, I want this to be perfect and that kind of thing. And you have to just get out there, stand up and do the scene, so to speak, right? You got to just throw yourself in the fire and sink or swim. And then that's how you really strengthen yourself and your confidence, but then also your understanding, and then find the best way to execute what it is. So I just love what you shared there with that. Dang it, I feel like there was something else that Danielle had said, but it's not coming to me. And I wanted to share my wins for the week. Like, I was actually working on New Year's Eve because I didn't have plans that night, and I'm so freaking determined to get my mission done with all of this stuff, and I have so much freaking work to do. So I'm working on a couple different projects, and one of them in particular is a creator challenge and personal branding not a workshop, but a challenge that I'm doing for like a 3-day challenge. And it's basically to like help motivate people, like first of the year, people who maybe dipped out, even people who are new and are like, oh my God, I want to do something with this, but I don't kind of really know where to begin. And that's where I really come in, because I am definitely a hardcore freaking, ignite the fire inside of you, motivation, momentum, master when it comes to that stuff. But so I've been working on doing that and actually creating the workbook for that. That's the actual structure for that. So tangible results, and building and designing that within Canva, so that I have a fully polished and branded workbook, so that when people take the 3-day event, that they have a lot of value to be able to leave with. As you guys know, it's all about stacking the value, you guys, right? Like, especially when you're doing things that are high ticket items, it's how much value are you giving, and what it is you're offering, even if it's outside of your direct coaching and stuff. And then in addition to that, yesterday, what I was working on is a flagship product. I think you tapped into that a little bit earlier, Justin. So in addition to having a lot of these independent courses that I'm going to have online for my my customer base and my target audience, I'm also focusing specifically on a flagship product for the beginning of the year. Like the challenge, I'm going to utilize that basically to kind of have like an introduction to people. They could just take that and get like a ramp up. But if they want to extend and go a little farther, that's what the flagship product is about. And it's more of an extensive event that I'm doing, where it's going to be like 8 weeks. And it's kind of funny because Will is so good at making sure that you stay in the mindset of who your I am is, who you've decided that you're showing up as. And I absolutely
Where are you going?
love that. And where I kind of come in with that is because a lot of people, this is what I was going to say earlier, and I'll land with this. Like Danielle was saying, sometimes people, especially when you're creative, right? Like how you're getting ready for the podcast and doing all this stuff, but it doesn't generate revenue. And that's such a big Achilles heel that a lot of people have in the creative entertainment industry, and even in other things that people are doing, right? They're like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that. I want to be this, I want to be that. But they don't have a structure. They don't have a roadmap, especially if they don't have any professional business experience. They don't really know, well, how can I monetize this? And like the actual name of my flagship is going to be from creator to CEO. So it's like putting yourself in that mindset, and then also tangible actions to be able to execute, so that specific strategic ways that you can turn your stuff into monetization. Because the biggest thing that I have discovered, even people who are outside of the creative industry, is people are like, oh, I want to have residual income, I want to make money while I sleep, or I want to generate revenue, make like $10,000 extra a month in addition to my other job and just have some surplus income. But they have no idea what to do based on their talents and their gifts and their skills, of how to be able to turn that over into monetization, and then strategic steps and kind of like a roadmap to be able to execute that, to actually make revenue and on a regular basis. And that's literally what my flagship product is going to be. So whatever your dream is and your passion is, I bring in my business mindset in addition to my Hollywood experience with the personal branding to learn how to, okay, well, this is, I'm a wood maker. Well, how how do I monetize that, and a way to be able to do it in a very strategic way, but then also when it's potentially scalable for you, and then to kind of get yourself in that business mindset. So introducing that to people with actionable items so they can have true results of income and revenue coming in after the 8-week program implemented. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. Oh my goodness, so many things, but I'm super pumped, man. I'm freaking pumped.
Man, you're on fire today, Yvonne. Like I want some of your coffee, whatever you're having. So, but yeah, like you're speaking my love language because yeah, there's a lot of creative people out there and they're great. But when it comes to the business sense, right, they just, need some expertise there. So and here's a prime example, right? So I know somebody, for example, they're really good at social media marketing, but running an agency is different than being a social media marketer, right? It's two different disciplines, right? So and the only way to do both is, either learn the skill or, learn from somebody who's done both, right? Who's run a business successfully and who's a social media marketer, right? And so, yeah, having those two disciplines is really critical, right? It's really critical. And so, yeah, if you don't have that discipline, then learn from somebody who does and get a mentor, get a coach, join a community like the Revenue Running community, because you will get that, right? You will get real world expertise from operators who are growing their agencies, growing their businesses, who've done the thing, right? It's very clear. So, and then the other thing you mentioned, the flagship product. Yeah, so this is critical. Every single person needs a flagship product. Every single person. And and I always teach there's three price points. You want a high ticket, a mid ticket, and a low ticket. So no matter where they're at in the journey, you know, um, they can sign up, right? So I have a $30,000 program for 90 days for CEOs. I have a, 5 to 15K program, and this is like, monthly. And then also I have the revenue running community, right? So it's like no matter what, I can put someone in whatever bucket they fit in. And so I highly encourage you guys to do that as well. What is that flagship product? And yeah, it's absolutely critical. You need to have clarity on that. So yeah, great stuff, Yvonne. Let's go to Will because I saw his hand jump up and yeah, go for it, Will.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I love what Yvonne said there because that I think is, from what I've noticed, the missing piece with a lot of, we'll call, because like there's three levels of entrepreneurs, as we all know, right? Start, grow, scale. When a lot of people get into the game and they want to get into start, what I've noticed is a lot of people spin their wheels there, applying effort in a direction without the strategy, right? So as we've said many times, like you need strategy. Strategy is essential. Knowing what to do is step one, right? Knowing that you want to play the game is step zero. Knowing what to do is step one. Knowing how to do it is step two. And then will you follow through on it? Step three. So I was going to say to Yvonne, if you're open to a conversation, we might be able to complement each other there with the you tell them what to do and I'll hold them accountable. Well, it's a bit deeper than that, but yes. I wanted to bring that to the table.
Yeah, well said, well said. All right, awesome. Well, guys, we're approaching the end here, so it's been a great discussion. Some people had to drop off, which is totally understandable, and yeah, like we do these spaces daily. Just a reminder, Monday through Friday, 6:45 a.m. Pacific. Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the startup circle, and Tuesday, Thursday in the revenue Ronin community. So make sure you guys just have it on your calendar. You show up. If you've gotten some value here, please like and repost the space. Maybe comment below. I want to recognize a few people down below: Trey Shard, Michael, Anna, aka AVR, Jason Barrett, Sammy. Circuit. A lot of great listeners down below. Thanks guys for being here. Hopefully you guys are getting some value. These are really NBA ASAs out there. Jane, hello Jane, good to see you. Cindy, of course. Honey Badger, Happy New Year to you, Honey Badger. Great to see you. Stardress is here, and yeah, it's just been a great discussion. Really appreciate everyone's contributions today, and yeah, let's move to final word here. We'll go. Will, Danielle, Giancarlos, Timo, Yvonne, Kevin for 1 minute each, and then we'll wrap up. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. Will, over to you. Final word.
Okay, on the spot, no problem. So yes, let's recap the win from earlier, right? Clarity, conviction, commitment, consistency. Guys, I updated my banner because that was so on point from Justin and Christelle. Like, I view commitment as before this, but like, you're absolutely right. Because like Bob Proctor used to say this, right? There are two levels, two questions you have to ask to achieve anything you want. One is, am I capable of achieving this? Physically capable? And the answer is always yes. Of course you are. You're a human being with access to the internet. Yes, you're capable. But then the other question is, am I willing? Am I willing to pay the price that this thing demands of me? And I'll tell you something, the price is not always money and time. The price is giving up the old story. It's giving up the old self. It's buying the pearl of great price and going all in on the new version of you. And that is a commitment, right? The decision is the elimination of alternatives. And if you're playing this game of entrepreneurship and you expect to win and you want to win, you must be committed. It is foundational. It's the price of entry to the game, because otherwise you're a hobbyist. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in this space, chances are you want to be a successful entrepreneur. And I will say that commitment is the price of entry. So I've added it to the stack.
That's what we call real-time real-time correction and working sessions, right? Which is so hat tip to you, Will, for taking the action and not waiting, right? Brian Tracy has a famous quote, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now.
I saw that the other day.
Do it now,
Well,
do it now, right? So there's a theme here. Yeah, go for it, Will.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say on that point, hesitation, because this is something that I've been really digging deep on lately. Hesitation, when you know what to do and you hesitate, you are directly reinforcing the old behavioral pattern. So I just wanted to say that because like when Brian Tracy says, do it now, do it now, do it now, like that one outcome, that one action is unlikely to change the direction of your business, but it does a massive job at changing who you believe you are. Because if you know what to do, and this is called in sales speed to lead, like the quicker you get to the lead, not only do you get them when they're hot, which is great for the business, but you teach yourself that you are the kind of person who acts on opportunity immediately, and that will compound more than the result you got from that call. So do it now. Thank you, Justin.
You got it. You got it. Yeah, the pedigree here is, there's a lot of greats, I've learned from in the personal development space. Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Napoleon Hill, T. Harv Eker, Tony Robbins. I mean, I can go down the list. And yeah, like, you got to learn from the greats, right? Success leaves clues. So when you learn from the greats, you become great, ideally, right? So I'm focused on becoming greater. So it's a journey towards mastery, right? That doesn't stop. So appreciate you guys being on the journey with me, and Will, it's so great to, be connected to you. And yeah, we've grown a lot in this last year, and this year is going to be even bigger. So all right, well, let's go to final word. Over to you, Danielle.
I was saying success, would you say breeds clues? I mean, that's really cool. I love that. Remember it. When we talk about commitment and all that going out there and all completely appropriate to what it is we're doing, it just reminds me, like with the commitment, that just comes with discipline, right? I mean, when I'm feeling motivated and there's momentum based on that motivation, that's a beautiful, beautiful wave, but it doesn't last. And so it's all about staying disciplined, and we all have discipline within us. And so it's awaken it, nurture it, and commit to it. So, that's all I got today on this very sleep deprived Friday morning.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. A lot of love your way, and yeah, you can rest over the weekend. So just finish the day strong today, and then rest over the weekend. So you deserve it. Okay, final word over to you, Giancarlos, if you're available, and then we'll go to Yvonne, Timo, and Kevin.
I think what I want to say for final word, and inspired by Will, you one thing I like to say is you want to meet people where you are, but I think obviously one of the most important aspects of that is you have to be able to meet yourself where you are first. So obviously identity is great for that. Tying back to my concept earlier, I'm not in a place in my life where a school community would be viable for what I want to do, because quite frankly, everything that I want to do is centered around my wife and my son. And that's just the phase of my life right now. Christelle mentioned the newsletter. There's room for that because it's a little bit different. It's a little less engaged, right? So I can make adjustments to, figure out that workflow and see how that's going to work for me and my family. But yeah, that's just an example of me meeting myself where I am so that I can efficiently meet other people where they are. So I think that's what I want to say. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Giancarlos. And yeah, I'm with you. If you're tapping into an opportunity with fractional COO clients right now and, focus on that, triple down on that, right? Like the newsletter can come later, right? Like, listen, follow the revenue. Okay. If you take one thing from this space, okay, you follow the revenue. Okay. Giancarlos knows what I'm talking about because I know what he's going through. So the point is you got to follow the revenue, and speed to lead. That's a huge thing. Let me tell you. Okay? I think it was Will who said it, speed to lead. Companies that jump on inbound leads right away within the first 5 minutes have a higher likelihood of closing that deal. And if they wait 5 minutes or longer and it's more than 24 hours, the likelihood of closing that deal drops 80%. 80%. So speed to lead. If you get an inbound lead, which includes an inbound from LinkedIn, an inbound email, an inbound phone call, an inbound text message, an inbound DM on X, whatever the channel it is, it doesn't matter. You got to hop on that right away, right? You got to hop on that right away. So thank you for that reminder, Will and Giancarlos. Okay, Yvonne, final word, over to you.
Oh my goodness, I love it, Justin. That is so freaking true. I always think of it as closest to money action, because it's so easy to get caught up in busy work, but are you actually producing results? I literally heard that phrase from the billionaire that I worked with, right? Like, I'm such a big planner, which is awesome. But I remember one time when I was working on a project for him, and he was like, I was explaining what was going on, and he was like, yeah, but have you produced any results? Like, I still hear him in my head to this day in regards to that, right? And results meaning that you have something tangible that's out there, that's an asset or what have you, that is going to be generating revenue. So when you're working on different things, think to yourself, and is this moving me closest to money action? Like, is this action moving me to the quickest way for me to be able to start generating revenue, especially if you're just, starting out and first working? And you're so right about the whole leads thing. I learned that the hard way too. Before I even started really marketing my company, when I was starting to build it, and I didn't have all the products ready, and I was already getting people that were interested on my Facebook page for it, all this other kind of stuff. Like, I was not ready at that time. So have a little love and patience with yourself. But now is the time, right? Like, and like how Will said, like, you have to move into the action. That's literally freaking physics, right? Things that are in motion stay in motion. But there has to be that initial trajectory that you have, and that's where community, in my personal opinion, is so important, because the rocket fuel that you need to be able to have the initial launch, like, that can come from the synergy of other people around you that are also building something, and you can keep that momentum going. And when you have the resistance, or I should say, having the awareness that when you're feeling yourself with something, wanting to procrastinate, because I had this a little bit as I started ramping myself up again. And for me, thank God, it only lasted like a couple days, but I had the awareness when I felt the resistance and the pull to go back to the place of comfort. And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, it's such a weird, funky, like, gross feeling, in my personal opinion. But I pushed through that, even though I had that feeling. It's that whole saying, like, doing it even when you don't feel like it, right? So even though I didn't feel like continuing in that moment, I pushed myself through and I made myself. But because I'm holding myself accountable, and because of these communities, because I wanted to be able to report back with my results. So see, there's the importance of the community. Well, then once I did that, now, like in the last couple days, I was been so busy doing that because the momentum is there. So now that part of that is actually pulling me forward instead of me having to quote unquote will myself into that. Now it's pulling me, because once you start getting into the action, you're going to want to stay in the action, right? It's almost kind of like an addictive personality a little bit, right? Like you get that addiction of the high, of the productivity, of the results that you're producing. And there's no better time to start than now. It's the beginning of the year. This is a great freaking community to be able to really help you learn how to navigate and celebrate your wins, and just know that even if you're starting out in your building, you're gonna have some setbacks, you're gonna have some losses. But and I'll land with this, like with Babe Ruth. It's one of my favorite quotes. I have it on my IMDb, which meanwhile I need to update, but that's another conversation. But and one of my favorite quotes is Babe Ruth was known as one of the greatest, home run hitters of all time during his time when he was playing baseball. But he also, most people don't realize that he also struck out more than anyone else. And that's the same thing that applies to acting, Hollywood, to content creation, to building your entrepreneur business. You have to have the persistence to follow through with the dips. If you have the persistence and community helps you have the persistence, you will win. It's just a matter of when and how much you win.
Man, Yvonne, thank you so much. Yeah. Whew. Like Christelle said it the other day, like it's we've leveled up having you here as a Ronin. So thank you, Yvonne. Really appreciate your wisdom and your share today and your energy. And yeah, so I think you guys mentioned like playing to win versus playing not to lose, right? This is a critical distinction, and I've seen it all the time on the sports field is teams that were in the lead, originally they let their foot off the gas. And Jason Barrett down below, he knows because we've talked about it in multiple spaces. But the point is like the team that was leading, they kind of took their foot off the gas. And then guess what happened? The other team came back and won, right? So it's like you got to play to win. Don't play not to lose. That's a completely different game, completely different mindset, right? So if you're in this room right now, like we're playing to win, like we are not hobbyists. Okay? We don't have businesses that are hobbies masquerading as a business. Like we don't have that. This is the wrong room. Like there's a standard here, there's a commitment, there's a discipline, and that's what it's all about. So if you're serious, you're a serious entrepreneur, you're in the right room, learn and then drop the L and earn. And don't get played, get paid. All right. Thank you, Yvonne, again. Let's go to Timo and then Kevin for final word for a minute each, and then I'll sign us off. All right, Timo, over to you, man. Final word.
Okay, so 2026, understand this. AI is steamrolling over multiple different ecosystems, and things are going to be changing rapidly. So, number one, create environments, create situations where you are aligned with amazing people. Network is your network. Still, I would say your network's problems are your network. So try to find people that are doing what you're doing, hopefully a little bit, couple of levels ahead, so you can learn, and then you can teach others, which increases, it's like the reinforcement learning. And like Yvonne said, people mingle around with their planning phase. Don't do it. If you haven't made $1 yet online and you're building something, start a newsletter, not because of you need a newsletter, but because those platforms are the easiest ways to get yourself a landing page with like less than 5 minutes, and you can start collecting emails. You need those emails to push that product onwards. Posting on X or whatever platform is not going to work. It's not selling as well as it did a couple of years ago. And be prepared to fail, but fail forwards on your face because it's easier to get up. Just push up when you're face down on the ground. Realign and just push forward. And don't give your emotions to whatever you're building. If it's not selling, if it's not getting any buzz, any interest around it, just take it behind the sauna, shoot it in the back of the neck, and put it in a shallow grave. And that's it. You got to start doing this, because the longer you wait, the more people who are serious about this stuff are going to be pulling ahead. Also, join the Ronin community. Unfortunately, you missed the cheaper prices as far as I know, and join the startup circle, because this is where it's at.
And thank you, Timo. And yeah, the prices haven't been updated, so my VA didn't do that yet. So guys, if you get in now, you can still get on the rates of last year because my VA didn't do it. So yeah, take advantage, guys. So thank you for that, Timo. Yeah, follow interest and behavior, right? Those are clear indicators, interest and behavior, and just continuous with, that momentum. So yeah, great sign off, Timo. Go for it.
Thing is that think about if you can ever, or when you can actually follow your passion. I would say follow the revenue, and when you can afford it, follow your passion. Unfortunately, your passion is probably not the best selling point. So make that money first, put that revenue stream coming in, and then when you can afford, follow your passions.
I love it. All right. Thanks, Timo. Appreciate you, man. I'll connect with you on the back channel. Enjoy the rest of your holidays off before you go back to the 9 to 5. And yeah, Kevin, final word over to you, man.
Thank you, everybody. Been another fantastic space. Just to always appreciate what's going on here as well. I mean, follow the revenue is absolutely a great one too, and I like what Timo said there at the end as well. Sometimes your passions aren't going to be the most monetizable things, but you earn revenue to be able to chase that passion afterwards. And I think that's genuinely one of the best things that people really look forward to, and I find that's where people find a lot of their alignings as well. I don't have too much to say, but again, fantastic, incredible space. I'll be hosting a space of my own with Ani in a little bit here. So if you guys are interested in learning about AI a little bit in the background, that space is for you. And yeah, just start the startup circle. Justin T, though, did you get a follow-up with my client, the one we've been talking in the back end?
I did not, but I gotta check my DMs. I'm behind. But yeah, I'll definitely let you know. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Because yeah, he did seem very, very interested in what the program was, and yeah, it could be potentially Ronin. All right, awesome stuff. So, cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers, Kevin. Thanks, man. And yeah, thanks everybody for another great space here in the startup circle community, sales and marketing mastery. The two biggest business drivers, wins for the week. Why do we end the week with wins? Because majority of business is losses and lessons learned. Okay, there's no losses. Sorry, I was getting a call from Google talking about ad stuff. But yeah, the point is majority of business is lessons learned. Okay, losses/lessons learned. So we have to take those wins. We have to really focus our attention and energy on celebrating those wins because that fuels us. Where's the fuel? It's in the wins. That's where the fuel is. It's in the wins. And then you just compound those wins. You compound the wins, and winning compounds over time. And so I did assign some homework for everyone in the purple pill. So there's today's homework: watch, like, comment, and subscribe. So this is your model here, the 3 pillars of media domination. Okay. I did this video a while ago. It's really powerful, especially for the new year. So you understand the differences between the 3 types of media. There's owned media, there's earned media, and there's paid media, right? So understand these are 3 critical things you got to understand, right? You got to understand the landscape, the media landscape. Before it was social media, it was called social networking. Okay? Social media came after the terminology of social networking. So first it was social networking, and then it became and morphed into social media, right? So understand the landscape. So please, please follow your homework assignment before Monday. would really appreciate it. I'm gonna work on kicking this cold, and so we're functioning at 100% as soon as possible, so we can continue to dominate and continue the momentum we've all been building. And just some final thoughts here. Wins compound. So my wins, I re-signed another client for a 1-year deal on Google Ads. I charged them more, of course. Working on upselling an existing agency client. I hit 700 subscribers on Beehive. We hit 22 active Ronin members, and we have 400 Ronins in the X community. So those are my wins for the week, and we're just going to continue building on the momentum we've all been building together here, and appreciate everyone contributing to the conversation again. And we'll be back Monday in the startup circle for Momentum Monday. It's your favorite day of the week, Momentum Monday. So just remember, guys, at the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves 4 simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, but most importantly, build that legacy. So stay hungry, stay humble. We'll see you guys at the top. And make it a productive and profitable day. And look out for the summary on the timeline. I may tag you if you contributed to today's conversation. And yeah, we'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
In a world of uncertainty, the Ronin stands apart. A master of sales and marketing who answers to no one. Forge your own path. Create your own success. 1,000 leaders, 1,000 Ronins. Will you be next? Join the revolution now. Step into mastery at therevenueronin.com.
All right, much love, guys. Have a great day. Hmm. Hey guys, Justin R for these old friendship.